I wanted to make films for years. I was an actor when I was a teenager, terrible actor, although I was pretty successful at TV commercials. But I didn't like it. I was too insecure, and I also realized that I wasn't in control. And that was something I've learned about myself over the years, is that I'm a natural director of just about anything I put my mind to. But maybe about 10 or 15 years ago, I realized really seriously that now was the time and that I wanted to direct a film. When I left Gucci 5 years ago, I thought this is the perfect time. I set up my production company in Los Angeles and I started looking for a project. You know, I know what I want to say in fashion, and I have said over the years, but I had to really stop and think, well, why does anyone need to see a Tom Ford movie? Who needs another movie? What do I have to say? So finding something that had a message that I felt was important was really the most important thing. And I'd read a lot of scripts. I had optioned a couple of books that I was working on adapting, and still nothing felt quite right. One day I was driving to my office, and I may have said some of this last night, so you may have heard all this already. But I was driving to my office, and I realized I was thinking about this character, George, in A Single Man, which I read in my early 20s when I was living in Los Angeles making TV commercials. And at that time, I kind of had a crush on George, and that was really what my recollection of the book was at that moment. And then I quit, right after that, met Christopher Isherwood and became obsessed with him and his writing and read everything he'd ever written. But I realized I was thinking about this character. I'm driving on my way to the office, and I thought, I should pick that book up and read it again. Reading it from the perspective of someone in their mid-40s who has been fortunate enough to have all the material things that the world can offer, and yet was going through a bit of a crisis and had really neglected the spiritual side of my life. This book spoke to me in a very spiritual way, and I saw that actually it's a book written by the false self from a kind of great distance, observing the true self. It's written in the third person, and that it's really a book about learning to live in the present. Our culture, you know, is always living in the future. If I just get this, I'm going to be happy. If I get this new house, I'm going to be happy. If I get this new job, I'm going to get happy. If I get this new boyfriend, I'm going to be happy. If I get these new shoes, I'm going to be happy. And that's not really what it's all about. As a fashion designer, too, you also really live in the future. I mean, I design 18 months in the future. Today doesn't even exist. So before you know it, all your todays are gone and your life is over. And I'm constantly trying to live in the present and to drink things in and freeze them. And, you know, that's what the movie's about. It's about understanding that the simple, small things in your life, sitting here with the beautiful sunlight streaming in, looking at these incredible dahlias, having a conversation with someone, that's what it's about. And I think it's the perfect time for us to all remember that and to strive for that. And so it seemed like the right story to tell.